Autistic children and young people, they understand, process and interact with the world in a different way to others. And that often leads to them being misunderstood and people not knowing quite how best to support them. They often report that teachers don't understand them and they're more likely to be bullied as well. In England, autistic children and young people are twice as likely to be excluded from school. 83% of parents reported that their child's self-esteem had been lowered as a result of that exclusion. And it's lifelong, but only 2% of autistic children felt that they could ask for help in the school environment. The Autism Centre for Education and Research, which is also known in short as ACER, is based at the University of Birmingham, and we have in particular recently been looking at the impact of exclusion on autistic children and young people. So at ACER, we believe it's really important to co-produce research with autistic children, young people and adults.
We do a lot of research on how to support autistic children, young people and adults throughout their educational journeys. We work with the autism community, the education community, and together we try to co-create research that will really make a difference on both policy and on practice. One of the things that autistic students often struggle with in a school setting is the sensory environment. There's lots of colours, lots of equipment. It's just a very, very busy and chaotic place.
If you are a teacher, wherever you are in the world, you are very likely to have an autistic child in your class because numbers are rising across the world. We know that a lot of the barriers to learning and participation for autistic children and young people are the fact that their learning environment, the teaching approaches, the way of interacting with them or communicating with them isn't adapted to the way that they process, understand and interact with the world.
We're here at Mayflower Primary School in East London. One of the things that we have is that every class will have ear defenders that any pupil can use at any time if they're finding the kind of noise around them a bit too overwhelming. And also all of the classrooms have flexible seating. So some of the students like to be on rocking chairs or on wobble stools, and they find that a much more comfortable place to learn. And we feel that if we can make the sensory environment much more suited to the diverse range of needs we have in the classroom, that will help young people with their learning much more broadly.
We don't just talk about the physical environment, we also talk about how we communicate, how the children in that environment communicate and interact. Families and parents and carers are incredibly important in that as well. Families that are marginalised either through poverty, being of different ethnicities, or families where English might not be their first language. Those families tend to be more marginalised than others. So a lot of our research is really looking at investigating what that is for those people in order to try and change it. We're also moving forward with our work in using technology. In ACER in particular, some of us are focusing on work around robotics. And what we're finding with robots is they can be really helpful if you're using in the right way as a kind of pedagogical or teaching tool. The robot doesn't place quite so many demands on them as the interaction with a human. So you're not having to attend to body language, eye contact, intonation, all those different aspects of communication that are really quite complicated. And robots tend to give people more processing time to think through how you're responding. Quite often we as human beings, we don't give autistic people enough time to process information that we give them, and understanding better how we can incorporate robots to be used in classrooms in a way which can motivate and support children and families.
One of the most exciting things that we're doing at ACER at the moment is really taking the work we do and shaping policy at a national level. So Karen Guldberg is chairing the Department for Education's Neurodivergence Task and Finish group, and then I am also the Specialist Advisor to the House of Lords Committee on the Autism Act 2009. So every week we go into the Lords and the committee hears from different witnesses, and we're learning what they think on a range of different issues. And then we collate all of that information together and we'll pull that into a report that will go to government and has recommendations about what the future should look like in relation to the Autism Act and the government's autism strategy. One of the brilliant things about being at the University of Birmingham is that it enables us not just to enact change at a national level, but also with the campus in Dubai, we've been able to go to the UAE and do some really exciting research, looking at what good autism practice is in that context and how to support practitioners there as well.
We have worked with a school called Al-Karama School in Abu Dhabi, where they used our 8 principles of good autism practice to shape their whole strategy. Those 8 principles were developed by us in partnership with the Autism Education Trust. We've developed a set of national standards for schools, and we've developed a full professional development programme which has had over 400,000 educators engaging with it across England. It's also been adapted to Wales through work that we've done with Monmouthshire. We've worked in Poland, Italy and Greece, where it was also developed specific professional development programmes for those areas as well.
The University of Birmingham has a really long-standing reputation for being a centre of excellence in autism education. We have some of the longest running distance learning courses in autism education, and if you are a practitioner working in a school who wants to develop and deepen their practice, you will come to the University of Birmingham to do that.
I am a neurodivergent individual and I have 3 children, all who are neurodiverse. The University of Birmingham's been really fundamental in my personal journey. I was diagnosed autistic midway through my master's here. I've met a lot of fellow autistic people. Community that I've found at University of Birmingham has been fundamental to my self-discovery as an autistic person and as an academic.
On every single level, I would say that the university is fantastic in the support it provides to ensure that our research makes a difference to the lives of autistic children and young people. It's the absolute gold standard in autism education. We absolutely intend to continue utilising the influence that we have at policy level, both nationally and internationally, in order to impact on change.